Hello, the man here playing Farming Simulator 22 on Prairie Farms, Michigan, and welcome back to another brand new day here on the map. We're now into the month of April after a relatively long March here. We did quite a bit of work here yesterday in game time here as far as cultivating and mowing and taking care of cows and yeah, just all kinds of work there, right? Fertilizing. We have, I believe, both our fields here are ready to be planted. I see the weeds have come back up, unfortunately. Yeah, I guess that's kind of something we have to deal with, right? And speaking of weeds, by the way, out of curiosity, if we go over here, actually, we could probably just look at it on the map. Checking for weeds. Yeah, we do have a little bit of weed in the corner here. Watch, if we go spray them, it'll probably boost our score up here at least a little bit. Because, again, I always forget them. What's the bottom one here? Let's see what's here. Okay, now how do I get back out of... Okay, not sure. I'm looking for the main one here again. How do I get back out of this one? I'm always forgetting that one. Oh, well, anyway. So, yeah, 59. That one definitely has the lowest score out of our fields here at the moment. That one is definitely hurting us here a little bit. Yeah, how come I can't get back out of that one? See the rest of that information here. Let's see what's here. Yeah, it should be that screen. There we go. I don't know why it wasn't letting me do that a moment ago. That's what I was trying to do. So yeah, our current environmental score is 90, which actually is surprisingly not bad. I mean, that's actually a pretty good average here, I would say, at this point. Again, our values on that one, the nitrogen. I don't know. Why is the nitrogen so poor on this field? I don't get what is going on. Let's go check this field out here again in a minute. I don't know what is going on with that. Nitrogen, our nitrogen is perfect. I mean, why is the nitrogen so bad? I don't know. Anyone have any ideas as to why the nitrogen is, like, it's zero on one? It's bad. Like, really bad. Even our hay field over here, which I've done a very poor job of managing the nitrogen on, is, like, good. And this field is, like, zero. So I don't know what's up with that. I mean, if anyone has any good ideas on that one, let me know. The weeds, of course, we should be able to take care of that one. Just come over there with the John Deere sprayer with the See and Spray on it, and that should take care of that problem. Anyway, this episode I want to plant field 9 and field 6 here, get both those fields going. Also, I thought between episodes here when I finished up baling on the grass field here, I was picking up the bales here in the dark. Thought I was finished. Turned out the tractor just stopped for some reason. I don't know, the bale or something was in the way. And he did not finish the last headland here. So I got him finishing this up at this point. There's a few more bales on the field that need to be picked up. Actually, I guess we can start on that right now here in a minute because like he's almost finished here. Like I said, I thought he was already finished. I mean, I could not see that last windrow in the dark there. Till I slept through the night here today, walked back out feeling like, oh, there's a whole nother windrow here yet. Oops. Got that picked up. Field probably needs some fertilizer on it here again as well, man. I guess probably can do that. We'll probably throw the manure on it again, I guess, if we wanted to, maybe. Let's see, what do we got? 3 more bales. I think we're going to run out of space here. Yep, we're going to have a couple more bales down this side of the field here yet, so that's not too bad. Back on the trailer here for the moment. Oh, and I forget which one of these cow buildings. I see some in this one. I think it's these two over here. I put one load of bales in already in one of these. Okay, it was that one apparently. Maybe this other one over here is the one that probably needs it. And of course, those bales probably have not fermented yet, so which might not be a good thing. I think these places or these buildings were in desperate need of silage. At least that one was. This one we have a little bit left yet, so we're not doing too bad. Dump them in there. Watch them all collapse. And I'm sure those other bales probably have not turned into silage yet, if I had to guess that one. So. We probably got to wait a few more hours here, maybe another day or something like that in game, and then those will become silage bales. Might have to actually buy some actual silage bales here again. So note to self, this time around here, I definitely need to make a little bit more silage. In fact, we got hay sitting there. So we're not doing too bad on the hay department here. We have some straw sitting there as well. We got bedding straw in the barns yet. So I don't know about you folks. I think we actually did pretty good, other than the silage here this time around here for the cows. We actually have most of the things they need. Okay, I'm just gonna park this over here for now. Should really just, let's get rid of that other atrocity here as far as trailers goes a minute. Oh, bale loaders, yep. Yeah, just get rid of this thing. This thing is garbage. The Fleagle, much better choice. Much better choice. It's a little derpy of it when it, fills up and then goes to unload and just automatically, like, unloads for you. That is a little bit annoying if you ask me, but other than that, still great choice there if you ask me. And I think this field 9 was mulched, right? Okay, good. I was going to say, I thought I had all the fields finished up in that regards. Let's go grab ourselves a couple of tractors here. Ew, red tractor, nasty. Where's our good green tractor? There, nope, well, there we go. That was the one I was looking for. Yes, that's the tractor I want. Leave the red back there. Gotta pick up the red tractors. You know one? Yep, that's a given. Okay, let's go grab. Oh, I don't know. Should we plant the corn or the beans with this tractor? You know what we need, Evan, are some nice tanks to put out in front of this tractor here, or the side, or something like that. That would be perfect. Got some planters. I think are in the shed over here. Okay, I thought so. Never mind. Let's see. Not in that shed. Yeah, leave. Oh, I thought I put it back in the shed. Not in that shed. There's mulch and stuff on that one. That one over there has the grain carts and stuff in it. So, how about this shed? Aha. There's some planters of one. I know one of these planters is set up for beans, and one of them is set up for corn. Of course, if you quick stroke will fix whatever one it's set up for, but let's see. Verdict is this one is corn. Perfect. Okay, looks like we're planting corn here with a 9470 RX, and corn was going on this video here, if I remember correctly. I think that's not planned anyway. I think what we'll do, we'll plant the corn here this episode, and we'll save the soybeans here for next episode. I think that's going to be the plan here at this point. Speaking of the episodes, by the way, I realized here when I started recording this episode that apparently, I don't know if I forgot of one or YouTube screwed up, but yesterday's episode, I don't know, it's like not there. When I went to YouTube, like, I'm almost positive of when I uploaded it. I'm fairly positive, or at least I thought I started it anyway. And I went and checked here today before I started recording. I'm like, where's yesterday's episode? So I don't know what happened to that. Anyway, at the time I'm recording this, what would be yesterday's episode for you folks is currently in the process of being uploaded and should be uploaded here in a couple of hours, hopefully. So apologies on that one. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I was checking the comments here before I started recording. I'm like, that's weird. There's no comments on today's episode. Like, well, okay, that's a little weird. I mean, usually almost always get somebody that comments at least a couple of things, right? So I went and looked like, oh, there is no today's episode. Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Like, it's not even there at all. I know it's possible. Maybe I accidentally hit the refresh key or something when I started the upload, which of course refreshes the page, and then there goes your upload, of course. Maybe I accidentally did that. I don't know. But anyway, something happened. Okay, let's turn on GPS here. And 90-degree course, actually. Yes, that's right. We want a 90-degree course. And maybe shift that over just a little bit. Okay, there we go. We are planting corn. Got the John Deere. Actually, which one is this? MT775 here, if I remember correctly. A modded version of it, of course, that gives it more options. Oh yeah, we're definitely putting some fertilizer down here. Be curious to see if we use more fertilizer than seed here this time around. I know last time we planted corn, we actually did a pretty good job of putting down enough fertilizer. Actually, it should be the same this time too, I would think, because we did the same way last time. We put down slurry, liquid manure, and then we planted the corn. And our liquid fertilizer on the planter here versus our seed were about the same. Although I see at this point, the liquid fertilizer is much emptier than the seed. I'm not sure why that necessarily is, but raising the fertilizer by about 80 to 60 there from what I'm seeing. Ooh, 85 on that one. Missed a spot. You know how our field quality manager feels about missing spots. Better go back and clean that up. Try not to get too close to these trucks here, which I probably really should move. Oh, boy. Yep. Oh, boy. There we go. And I'll rehome that GPS. Yep, little bit of overlap. I'm good with that. Real life, I mean, you probably won't want to be overlapping that much. That might be, you know, overlapping a whole extra row here. That probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense on your field. But the game here, as I've said before, I don't mind seeing just a little bit of overlap along the edge. That way you got any little jagginess along the edge, that takes care of it. That point. Whoa, 105 on the fertilizer. Oh, my goodness, we're really raising the fertilizer there. Yep. Tells me we're going to need some more liquid fertilizer here at this point, aren't we? Unfortunately, I don't really have like any sort of good options or choices here for refilling this planter on the go without having to like just pull it up to the barn and refill it. So when that time comes, that's probably what we're going to end up having to do here. I do have a seed tender, so we can fill up the seed tender. I do also have probably an option for filling up the liquid fertilizer, but then I don't have like a combined option, if that makes sense, right, Evan? I don't have a trailer that holds both seed and liquid fertilizer, which would be ideal for this particular setup here. A little annoying seeing all these weeds in the field like this as well, but oh well, what are you supposed to do, right? And for those who maybe not familiar with how this type of planter works here, the seed on this planter I'm going to store it up in the bins up here. So unlike some of the older style planters, maybe those of you are familiar with those, where the seed is actually stored in each individual row unit. In this case, Evan, you got, I think they call it the CCS, right? The Central Seed Delivery or something like that. Or however, I forget the exact wording for that acronym there, but again, your seed is all stored, well, I'm going to say one place. Not really one place, because it's two bins. You got a bin for each side of the planter here, basically. So the one bin runs the one side, the other bin runs the other side of the planter. So with that being said, of course, I mean, you could actually plant two different types of corn at the same time. For that matter, you could plant two different crops too if you wanted to. I guess not sure who in their right mind would do that. Yeah, that may have happened on the server a few times. I don't know if that really happens in real life, but I don't know. Anyone know of any stories of that happening in real life? Like where a planter or a farmer's actually planted more than one crop type on a field? And I'm talking crop type. I mean, I'm not necessarily talking, necessarily variety here, right? But I'm talking a crop type, like someone planted corn and soybeans on the same field. Accidentally, you got a row of corn, a row of soybeans. Anyone ever do that before? I can't say I've ever heard of that one, but probably happened somewhere at some point. So again, with that being said, like I said, some farmers, especially if they're like wanting to test varieties of corn, they'll put one variety on one side and one variety on the other side. And with this particular planter here, works pretty good. 24-row planter, and I'm missing stuff here again. Oops, I should have. Let's just rotate the GPS. We're done with it. There we go. With this particular planter, because it's a 24-row planter, so with the farmers that have 12-row combines, guess what? You can get all of one side of a planter at a time. So you harvest all the one side, you get your numbers for that variety, and then of course you harvest the other side here, and you don't necessarily individually, but then you'll have your numbers for this side. You know, well, this variety did this good, this variety did this good. Definitely want more of that variety next year, right? Although with that being said, I mean, you know, conditions vary so much. Maybe you had a little extra rain this year, so that variety does really good with the extra rain versus the other variety. Well, next year, the other variety that didn't do so good last year maybe does better because you had less rain this year. It's, yeah, I don't know how you really even begin to, there's just so much data on that. It's ridiculous, right? Mathematician's nightmare, though, with that one there, if you ask me. Few too many variables. Although at the very least, I mean, if you have it, you know, your plant 12. Okay, and we're back here. Apologies, ran out of hard disk space. I guess I forgot to delete out the old recordings. Yep, I tend to forget to do that every so often. Every so often, I got to go in and delete out all the old recordings of them, because otherwise they pile up after a while, and that takes up a lot of space. So anyway, just deleted those out. We got plenty of space to record on now. Anyway, I was talking about, and I'll just kind of repeat myself here in case I'm not exactly sure exactly at which point it stopped recording. So we were talking about how the seed gets down to the row units, Kevin. So again, the seed comes down from the main tank down to each individual row unit through the tubes here, and that, as far as I know, is a vacuum system. So somewhere back here, oh, actually right there, probably is right there. See that unit there? That is a hydraulically operated blower. So that is responsible for sending the seed out to each one of the row units. Now, each one of the individual row units, that one has an actual little hopper on it as well, and that hopper just holds a little bit, not a lot of seed, just a little bit, enough to keep the meter fed. And then the meter oven back here with these round disc seed meter. That determines how many seeds are being planted, essentially. And of course, that seed meter can also have a speed setting on it as well. This particular planter, probably all electronic drive, if I had to guess. And of course, with the electronic drive, you can adjust the rate of seed you want to put down on the field. You know, maybe one field, you got a really fertile field, put a little extra seed on that field, right? You got a field that's not so good, well, why waste the seed on it? Turn down the seed rate, right? Once it's in the meter oven, then it goes down to, and I forget the name of this particular unit, but basically you got a long, slender seed delivery tube, probably not quite the right name, Evan, that goes down through the center of this row unit here and actually deposits the seed into the ground behind the opener. So, I don't know if I get a real good view of this here, or not. There's the cleaner. So behind the gauge wheel here, so the larger black wheel, and I'm not talking the big wheel, Kevin. I'm talking the larger black wheel that's on each one of the individual row units. Behind those, Evan, is a seed opener. It's basically opening up the ground and allowing it, or creating a trench, I guess. Creating a trench to deposit the seed into. The gauge wheels there, by the way, set the height for that opener. So depending on how deep you want to plant the seed, which depends on the type of seed you're planting, by the way. Corn is, I think that's right around that 2-inch mark, if I remember correctly there. You usually want the corn at. And then, of course, that seed delivery tube, Evan, usually actually is like a brush system, so it doesn't just drop it into the ground. You might think, wow, the seed meter just throws it down the tube and lets it fall. No, a lot of times you actually have a brush that actually carries the seed all the way down. That way you maintain your precision, everyone. Otherwise, if you just drop it, sometimes you might have some actual variability in seed placement. And at least when it comes to corn, Evan, corn is very particular on how it is planted. Soybeans, not so much, but corn, it likes to be very evenly spaced. And actually, when it comes to evenly spaced, corn also likes to be very even on the depth as well. Folks might think, wow, what difference does it make if, one kernel of corn is planted a quarter-inch lower than the rest, or a quarter-inch higher than the rest? What difference does that make? Well, the difference that makes, Evan, is the time it takes for it to come up. So maybe the seed that is a quarter-inch deeper than the one next to it might take maybe an extra day to come up. And again, most of you folks might be thinking, well, it's an extra day. What difference does that make? That actually can make a rather large difference, everyone. The seed that was next to it, maybe that was planted a little bit shallower, came up a little bit quicker, can very quickly shade out the one next to it and really affect your yield quite severely, very quickly. Put it that way, everyone. It's amazing how much of a difference that makes. And of course, with that being said, I mean, it's hard to, on an uneven field with plant conditions, it's never perfect. I mean, you never get like the perfect seed placement. You just get as close as you can and call it good, right? And of course, with planters like this, occasionally they plant skips and doubles. Skips, of course, that one is where it skips where there should have been a seed. Like there should be a seed here, the planter skipped it. Something went wrong. Seed did not fit the meter right. So, who knows what? I mean, something went wrong, right? And it skipped that one. Doubles, that one is when it plants 2 seeds in one spot where there should have been 1 seed, of course. Now you have 2 seeds. That, of course, is probably relatively obvious. That's never a good thing, right? You're probably, I don't know if you're better off with the skip, to be honest, because the skip is nothing, right? But it doubles, yeah, you got 2 corn plants in the same area trying to compete. Never a good thing. That's, of course, something you definitely want to try to avoid if at all possible. And with that being said, you folks might be wondering, too, well, how does the farmer know all this? Of course, up in the cab of the tractor there, usually you're going to have a monitor, at least with these planters anyway, that is monitoring all the data coming off that planter. Like, hey, you got a problem with this row or that row, or you got this amount of skips, this amount of doubles. Of course, if you start seeing a couple of doubles on a row unit or skips, you're going to be probably wanting to go check that row unit out, make sure something's not plugged up or something's wrong, or who knows what, right, everyone? All kinds of possibilities as to what can go potentially wrong with that. So anyway, hopefully that makes some sense. Hopefully I described the planter's operation somewhat reasonably well. Yeah, probably not, but oh well. Did the best I could, everyone. So, and I guess what we're talking about, everyone, with this particular planter here. So what we got out front of this particular planter is fertilizer. Fertilizer is being applied in the front of the planter here. So you got kind of the same setup here as you do for the seed, everyone. You've got an opener with a gauge wheel. That's the yellow and black wheel there, of course. And again, that is setting the height there, everyone. So that the gauge wheel, the idea behind that is that's running above the ground, or maybe on the ground, I should say. It's running on the ground, and the opener is cutting into the ground. So in this particular, I would presume probably somewhere around that 2-inch mark, they're probably putting the fertilizer down. Liquid fertilizer here on the case of this planter. Out in front of that, you have the, it's basically removing the trash. So you see those 2 wheels there? Oh, you can see the one. Kind of hard to see the other wheel, but from this view of it, I can see both wheels. I might not show up real well on the camera there for the video of them, but you got those 2 wheels that are removing any trash that might be in the way of the opener, because the openers, gauge wheels, they don't like trash being in their way. So you want to kind of just move a little bit of that trash out of the way. And when we say trash, by the way, we're talking, maybe if you're on like an old cornfield, we're talking any old corn residue, corn stalks, leaves, that type of thing. We're just trying to move that out of the way of the row unit. And then, of course, the next thing in line, is the opener and then the gauge wheels of the opener. And again, the gauge wheels can do the same thing as what we described on the front there with a fertilizer. They are riding on the ground, setting the depth of that opener. And then behind it, we've got the closing wheels. The closing wheels are taking that trench, that V-shaped trench that openers created, and they're closing that trench. So put the dirt back over the top of the seed. These particular ones looks like they're really working well. They might be a little deep there, just saying, a little deep. You never run your closing wheels that deep, that's for sure. That's a little bit ridiculous. And you can see with the gauge wheels too. The gauge wheels really should be running top of the ground. Obviously, you can see they're kind of running a little below the ground, not quite right, but oh well. Well, I'm going to read some comments here, but again, I don't know what happened to yesterday's episode, everyone. We don't obviously have any comments to read on yesterday's episode yet. Hopefully once we get that uploaded, there will be a few. But by that time, this video will be done being recorded. So now we do have a few comments here from miscellaneous other videos we could read. I'll do that in just a minute. Let's close that back up here while we're going along here. Zoom out so I can see this here. Okay, thought I had it open. I guess not. Must have closed itself. So anyway, two of the comments here. Snoop Doo was saying, "Go blue." Go blue. What the heck? What do I want to go blue for? Unless we're talking about football, then we could definitely maybe go blue for that one. That one makes sense. Christopher was saying, "Good video. Keep it up." Thank you very much for that there, Christopher. Playing around this house here a minute. Get a nice headland going along here. Uh-oh. We ran out of fertilizer. Okay, well, hold her up. Let's run over to the farm here. Actually, just across the road, so that's not too bad. Franco's asking, how do I fix my game? I bought the game 3 or 4 days ago. It does not want to work for me. The game sometimes kicks me out. My map only loads to 50%. I cannot get it to load past 50%. Someone tell me how to fix it. How can I contact someone? Well, first off, if you want to contact someone, I believe Giants on their official website does actually have a help or support section there. Plus, there's some good material over there for helping as well. Forums and all that good stuff might give you some good ideas. As far as the game not loading, I think I kind of mentioned this a little bit. Let's grab the key tool. We're at it, right? There we go. At least with this seeder, I mean, if you have the tanks closed, it can't fill the seed, so it's got to fill the fertilizer, right? That actually works. Anyway, as I was saying, a lot of times, when it comes to the game not loading, I would say 9 out of 10 times, it is mod related. So if you got mods, everyone, that is usually the reason you're having problems with the game crashing or stuff like that. The other possibility I happen to think of here too is if your computer does not meet the specifications for the game, well, that's obviously a reason too. But assuming your computer meets the specifications, you should be all set there. You might want to double check and make sure all your drivers and computers up to date. That's another important thing there. Sounds like in Franco's case, maybe he's never been able to get the game to load. So I don't know if he's running mods or not. If you are, I would highly suggest get rid of all your mods until you get the game to load. And if you have no mods and the game still doesn't load, definitely would check and make sure your computer is up to date at that point. Especially your graphics card drivers. Those are, of course, very important. And, of course, make sure your computer meets the minimum specs. And, in fact, I would highly suggest go for the recommended specs, everyone. The minimum specs are, well, they're just that. They're minimum and last-ditch desperate attempt to get the computer or the game to run, I would say. If you're having to resort to that, it's probably not a good thing. Wow, 600 gallons of fertilizer on this plant. Well, that's a good-sized tank there. We'll plant 2 headlands along this side of the field here as well. Just give ourselves some room to turn around. Makes it a lot easier. And then, of course, once we get the field planted, everyone will want to roll it and pray for weeds here as well. Because, again, I'd rather not have any weeds coming up in my field if I can help it, everyone. I know as far as the See and Spray sprayer goes, yeah, that'd probably take care of the weeds. As far as I know, you still get docked for that, though, one. That is definitely, again, I keep talking about this, but something I want to test here at some point. Really should, come on. There we go. Come on the track there. I was going to use GPS. We got it, right? Oh, yes, unlike some good plant here, everyone. And like I was saying, on my next episode, we'll grab the other planter here and probably another tractor. We'll start planting the soybean field. That, of course, will be the field right next to the farm there, field 6. This is field 9 right here. Between episodes, I'll probably try to finish up planting this field here as well. We'll get this field finished up so we can start rolling and spraying it here next episode. In addition to, let's see what else. Oh, we should probably get some fertilizer on our grass field. Need to get some fertilizer on that. We can also probably mow the grass field again. We might do that. Which reminds me, speaking of mowers, I need to maybe look into getting some nicer self-propelled mowers here, seeing how much we're mowing that field. As I think I mentioned in their last episode, I did actually download. I forget how many I downloaded. 1 or 2 I found. A little more American-style mowers there. We'll have to check those out. So anyway, I'm looking at the time. It looks like it is about time to wrap it up here for this episode. So if folks have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them down below. And as always, Evan, thanks for watching, and until next time.